People avoid me in the streets. They turn away when I pass. They do not speak my name unless they must. But when death comes to their families, and death always comes, they find me. Because I am the one who ensures their loved ones reach the afterlife. I am an embalmer. For 20 years I have prepared the dead for eternity. I am 45 years old, and I have touched over 300 bodies. I am the bridge between this world and the next. If I fail, a soul wanders forever, lost, forgotten by the gods. That is the weight I carry every day. The sun is barely above the horizon when I begin my walk to the workshop. The air is still cool, though by midday the heat will be unbearable. I live on the east bank of the Nile, in Thebes, where the living dwell. But my work is on the west bank, the city of the dead, the place where the sun sets, the place where all journeys end. I cross the river by boat. The ferryman nods but does not speak. He knows what I do. He knows where I am going. The west bank is quiet at this hour. Only those of us who work with death are awake. Tomb builders, painters, carpenters crafting sarcophagi. And me, the one who touches the dead. The workshop is a simple stone building, set apart from the tombs, far enough that the smell does not disturb the priests performing their rituals nearby, close enough that the bodies do not travel far. The smell greets me before I reach the door, natron salt, incense, and beneath it all, the unmistakable sweetness of decay. After 20 years, I barely notice. It is the smell of my life. Inside, the air is cooler. The thick walls keep out the worst of the heat. My tools are where I left them yesterday. Bronze hooks, obsidian blades, 4 canopic jars waiting to be filled, each jar topped with the head of a god, Imseti, Hapi, Duamutef, Kebesenuef, the 4 sons of Horus, protectors of the organs I will remove today. The body arrived 5 days ago. A man, perhaps 60 years old. A scribe, his family said. They paid well. Enough for the full process. 70 days from death to burial. 70 days to transform flesh into something eternal. He lies on the stone table now, covered with linen. I uncover him slowly, with respect. This is not butchery, this is sacred work. Every cut I make, every organ I remove, every prayer I speak, it matters. The gods are watching, his soul is watching, waiting to see if I will do this correctly. I begin with the brain. The bronze hook slides through the nostril, into the skull. I work carefully, breaking apart the tissue, drawing it out piece by piece. The brain has no value. It will not be preserved. The Egyptians believe thought comes from the heart, not the head. So the brain is discarded, wrapped in linen and set aside. Next, the organs. I make the incision on the left side of the abdomen. The cut must be precise, clean. I reach inside and begin to remove what must be removed. The stomach, the intestines, the liver, the lungs. Each one is washed in palm wine, then in water from the Nile. Each one is wrapped separately and placed in its jar. Imseti receives the liver, Hapi the lungs, Duamutef the stomach, Kebesenuef the intestines. But the heart remains. The heart must stay inside the body, because in the Hall of Two Truths, when this man stands before Osiris, his heart will be placed on a scale. On the other side, the feather of Maat, the feather of truth. If his heart is light, if he lived justly, he passes into eternal life. If his heart is heavy with sin, it will be devoured by Ammit, and he will cease to exist. I have thought about this many times. What does my own heart weigh? I have lived my life carefully. I honor the gods. I do my work with precision. But I also carry doubts, questions I do not speak aloud. Will that make my heart heavy? Will the gods see my uncertainty as a sin? I do not know, and that terrifies me more than the dead ever could. The man on my table, this scribe, I wonder what his heart weighs. Did he cheat? Did he lie? Did he treat others with cruelty? Or was he kind? Honest? Did he feed the hungry, as the texts say we should? I will never know. His family speaks only of his virtues. But families always do. The body is now hollow. I pack the cavity with linen soaked in resin, with sawdust, with myrrh and cassia. The smell of the spices is strong, covering the smell of death. This is how he will smell for eternity, not of decay, but of preservation, of care, of the work I have done. I cover him again and place him in natron, dry salt that will draw out all moisture. He will lie in this salt for 40 days. By the end his flesh will be dried, preserved, ready for wrapping. That is when the priests will come. They will recite the spells. They will place amulets between the layers of linen. They will transform him from a body into a vessel for his car and bar, his life force and his soul. But that is not my work. My work is this, the cutting, the preserving, the preparation. I am not a priest. I am a craftsman. But I think sometimes that what I do is more important than what the priests do. Without me, there is no body to bless. Without me, the soul has nowhere to return. I step outside for air. The sun is higher now, and the heat is building. In the distance I can see the tombs carved into the cliffs. Some belong to kings, others to nobles, a few to wealthy scribes like the man I am working on today. Each tomb filled with everything they will need in the afterlife. Food, furniture, servants made of clay, gold, so much gold. I think about the poor, the ones who cannot afford me, the ones who are wrapped in a simple shroud and buried in the sand. No preservation, no protection. The heat and the dryness of the desert do some of the work, but not enough. Their bodies decay. Their names are forgotten. Do their souls still reach the afterlife? Or does wealth determine eternity? The priests would say the gods are just, that the judgment of the heart is what matters, not the preservation of the body. But I have seen too many rich men treated as if they are guaranteed paradise, while the poor are buried and forgotten. It is a question I carry but never speak. To question the gods is dangerous. To question the system that feeds my family is foolish. So I return to my work. I do not think about fairness. I think about precision. I think about doing my job so well that this man, this scribe, has every chance to reach eternity. That is all I can control. My wife understands my work. She does not like it, but she understands. She knows I wash thoroughly before I come home. She knows I change my clothes. She knows I perform the purification rituals. But even so, people avoid her too. At the market, they do not stand too close. They do not let their children play with ours. We are marked, tainted by death. Our sons will not follow my trade. I have made certain of that. They are learning to read and write. They will be scribes, like the man on my table, respectable, clean. They will not carry the smell of death on their hands. They will not know what it is to be necessary and despised at the same time. But I wonder sometimes if they will understand, if they will know what it means to do work that matters, even when the world looks away. To carry the weight of the dead, knowing that without you, eternity is lost. I have prepared over 300 bodies in 20 years, men, women, children, the young and the old, soldiers and priests, noblemen and merchants. Death does not choose, it comes for everyone, and I am here, waiting, to do what must be done. Some bodies are easier than others. The elderly who died in their sleep, those are peaceful. The work feels like helping them along a journey they were ready to take. But the young ones, the children, those are hard. I work in silence on those days. I do not let myself think about my own sons. I focus only on the task, on giving that child the best chance I can. I have learned things in 20 years. I have learned that the body is fragile, that it decays quickly without intervention, that even the strongest man becomes nothing more than flesh and bone when the breath leaves him. I have learned that all the gold in Egypt cannot stop death, that all the prayers and all the spells are just hopes, hopes that something continues after this. And I believe it does. I have to. If I did not believe in the afterlife, in the judgment, in the field of reeds, in eternity, I could not do this work. It would be meaningless. I would be butchering corpses for money, nothing more. But I believe. I believe that when I remove the organs, when I pack the body with spices, when I cover it in natron, I am doing holy work. I am giving someone the chance to live forever, even if I am afraid I will not have that chance myself. The afternoon is passing. I cover the scribe again, making sure the natron is packed correctly around him. In 40 days, I will return to this body. I will remove the natron. I will oil the skin to keep it supple. I will pack the body cavities with more linen, and then the priests will take over. They will wrap him in hundreds of cubits of linen. They will speak the words that protect him on his journey. They will place him in his sarcophagus, and his family will carry him to his tomb, and I will move on to the next body. Because there is always a next body. Death does not stop. I clean my tools. I wash my hands in water mixed with natron. I say a prayer to Anubis, the god of embalming, thanking him for guiding my hands today. I do this every day. The same prayer, the same routine. It is how I keep the work sacred, how I remind myself that I am not just a craftsman, I am a servant of the gods. Outside, the sun is beginning to set. The western hills glow red and gold. The city of the dead is quiet. The workers have gone home. The tombs are sealed. The only sound is the wind, moving through the valley, carrying the sand, slowly burying everything. One day I will be the one on the table. Someone else will remove my organs. Someone else will pack my body with spices and cover me in natron. I wonder if they will do it as carefully as I do. I wonder if my heart will be light enough. I wonder if I will reach the field of reeds, or if I will be forgotten, like so many of the poor I have seen buried in the sand. I do not know. No one knows. That is the truth of death. No matter how much we prepare, no matter how much gold we bury, no matter how many prayers we speak, we do not know what waits on the other side. But I do know this. I know that the work I do matters. I know that every body I prepare is a life honored, a soul given a chance. I know that I walk between the world of the living and the world of the dead, and that is a privilege, even if it is a lonely one. I prepare the dead for eternity. I carry the weight of their journey. I touch what others fear to touch. I do what others cannot do. And in doing this work, in standing so close to death day after day, I have learned what it means to live, to breathe, to love my wife and my sons, to feel the sun on my skin, to know that this moment, right now, is all we truly have. The dead remind me of that, every single day.